In today's video, we're going to create a complete website design in Figma. We're going to create the home page, then we'll move on to about, services, projects, and then we'll have the contacts page. Finally, we're also going to prototype this project so you have a working prototype of the entire website. Hello, future me here. I created this video months ago actually, and I've been debating whether to post it or not. So I recently decided to post it. What happened was, when I created this project, all these images were free. By the time I was creating the repository for this project, I found out that all of the images are now premium. So if you don't have a premium free pick subscription, you don't have access to these images. I try to keep the services I use on the free site so everybody can follow along, but unfortunately it just so happened to come out like this. So if you don't have a premium subscription for free pick, unfortunately you can't use these images. But if you want to still work on this project, you can either just watch it to see how I worked on it, or you could use different images. I'll just suggest, when I created this project, the main colors I used, you notice that it is from the images. All of them they are from the same pack, from the same profile. So all of them are the same style, the same colors. So I just use the colors from the images for my palette. So I'll just suggest that if you're using different images, just use that images as the images you're going to use. If you're going to use different images, use it as a guide for your palette. But anyway, in the future, I'll try to find better services that will not switch things up on me, where I'll think it's free, and then when I'm trying to post it, it becomes premium later. Once again, I'm just deciding to post it now. I've had this video sitting with me for months, and I've decided to post it now. Sorry about that. Hopefully in the future, this will not happen again. I'm going to start with an image and a frame. Change the width to 400 and the height, just make it 200. Next, let's click on this and go to plugins, and we'll run Iconify. I'm going to search for image, and let's say this first one. I'm just going to go ahead and bring it in. It's currently set to white. Let me just make it something darker. Let's say something like this. Don't worry too much about the exact color. Let me close this. Change the dimensions to 60 by 60, and we're just going to have it in the center here. For this frame, let's also make it a bit dark. So I'm just going to select it, and then let's make this a bit dark. Let's make this even darker. Once again, no real specific colors. I just want something like this. So we're going to select this, and we'll just align it to the center for both sides. So now anytime we resize this image icon will always be in the center, and I can just rename this image placeholder, and Control Alt K, we have a component which is going to be our image placeholder. So we're going to start with a frame. So I'm just going to click on frame, and we're going to use the desktop frame, and I'm just going to bring this here. This is going to be homepage wireframe. Next, let's add a layout guide. I'm just going to change this to column. Let's open the settings, change the number of columns to 12, make the margin 120, and the gutter is going to be 24. Close this. I'm just going to zoom out like this, and then increase the height of our frame. Let's start with a text. So I'm just going to click on text, and I'm going to use, let me change the font to Roboto, and I'll just type logo. So this will be a placeholder for our business's logo. I'm just going to make this auto width, make this 32, make the weight black. Select this logo. Let's create another copy of this. I'm just going to bring it, let's say around here. This, let's change the size to 16 and just make it regular. Make this home. Now we'll just create copies of this. We'll have our website is going to have 5 web pages, so I'm just going to create 5. This is going to be about services. Next is going to be portfolio, and finally we have contact. I'm just going to move this here and just move this to this side. Let me just select all of them. Don't worry about the spacing. This is the wireframe, so it doesn't matter if it's perfect. We just want to have something that looks like an actual web page. I'm just going to align them to the middle, and I'm going to group this. Let me create a copy of this image, and I'm going to bring it into our frame, and I'll just extend this, and let me just say increase it to something like this. I'm going to use my left square brackets to send it to the back like this. Let's insert another text. I'm going to go to text, and I'm going to use lorem ipsum. I'm just going to click here, and I just need 4 words, and I'm going to generate. That's it. Now close this. Let's just change. I'm going to bring this around here. Change the size to 72. Let's create another one. I'll just change this to 36. Let's select this text box. I'm just going to right click, go to plugins, and we're going to run lorem ipsum again. And this time I'll do 4 sentences, and I'll just generate, change the size to 24. Oops. Okay. And I'm just going to reduce this so it will just represent the text in our hero section. Finally, I'm going to create a copy of this, and I'm just going to leave only lorem ipsum. I'm going to reduce this to 18, make it an auto layout. Let's add a fill. I'll just, let me see, maybe give it sort of a bluish color. We just want a placeholder button to represent a call to action button. So, why not? Let me add just a corner radius to let me know that, okay, when we're creating our actual design, our button will also have a certain corner radius or so. Okay, that's it. This is just the wireframe for the hero section. The next section is going to be the introduction, and this is just the general layout we're going to be following for this entire website. This is going to be part of the text. I'm going to put in the GitHub repository I'm going to attach to this video. So this is what I'm following. It's good to have a general layout of what your website will look like before you start designing. So I'm just going to start with this image. I'll create a copy of this, and I'll just reduce this, and I'll have this on, let's see, 6 columns, so it's on half of our page. Next, let me create a copy of this heading text. I'm going to make this much smaller. Let's make it 48, and this is going to be introduction. And I'm just going to paste that. I'm going to create a copy of this text box. I'll reduce the size to, it's not one of the options, I want to make it 18. I'll just copy this text and paste it multiple times to just have more text here. There's no specific length, just fill in the gap and just add something there. And we're done with this. I'm going to create another copy of this text. Oops. Going to create copy, bring it here. This one is going to be key services. Paste. I want us to use cards here, so I'm just going to use a rectangle and just draw one here like this. I'm going to create a copy of this text and bring it to the front, and I'm just going to make this Lorem Ipsum. Change the size to 32. Just going to bring that here. Let me create a copy of this text, bring it to the front. I'll just reduce this to about, let's say, 2 sentences. No, this is, I think, 3 sentences that is there. Reduce the size to, let's say, 16. Now just reduce this. I'll just group it so I can create copies. I'm just going to duplicate it multiple times till we have this. Okay, this is the key services section. Yeah, let's increase the height of this frame. I'm going to create a copy of this text, and this is going to be why choose us. I'm going to just paste here, and let me just grab a copy of this text and bring it down here. Once again, I'll just reduce this so it's just 3 lines, and I'll make 4 copies. So we'll have 3 copies, so we'll have 4 in total. I'll just create a copy of this image and bring it here. Just reduce it a bit. Yeah, that's it. Let's do the next section. Create a copy of this text. I'm going to, this is client testimonials. I'm going to copy this and paste. Let's insert another rectangle, and this time it's going to go, let's say, over 4 columns. Here, I'm just I'm going to right click, go to log plugins, and I'm going to run Iconify, and I'll just say star. I'll just pick the, and let me go with this one with curved edges. I'm going to just bring that in. I'm going to make this 24, so it's 24 by 24, or maybe let's make it bigger. It's kind of small. Okay, let me have it at 30. Let's change the color to something around this yellow / gold, so I will have a sort of golden color. Once again, don't worry too much about the color. This is just a placeholder. I'm going to create 4 more copies, so I will have 5. I'll just group them. I'm going to zoom out. I'm going to create a copy of this text and bring it. I'll use my right square bracket to bring it to the front. Reduce the size of this to 16. I'll just reduce this to about here, and I'll just add a placeholder for the name and description of the client. Let's change this to 24, like this. Again, it really doesn't matter. We're just going for a general layout. I'm going to select all of this, group it, and I'm going to zoom out, and I'm just going to create multiple copies till we have this client testimonial section. Next section is going to be the footer section. So I'm just going to, let's start with a rectangle. I'm just going to have it around here. Let's see, like this. I'm going to make this a bit darker. Let's say around like this, so it's, if you want it's exactly the same color, it really doesn't matter. That's the color I'm going for. Let's start with a text. I'm just going to write logo. This is going to be 32. Make the weight black, and I'm just going to place it around here. Let's create a copy of this text, and I'm just going to make this regular. Size is going to be 14. Let me just copy just this first sentence. I'm going to paste that here. Control Shift and V, so to match the same format of the destination. Just going to have this here. I'm going to zoom out a bit. I'm just going to create a copy of this, let's say around here. This is going to be quick links. I'm going to make this auto width. Let me create a copy first before I change the size of this. I'm going to change this one to 18. I'm just going to select this home. Let me just create multiple copies, so we'll have 5. Home, about us, portfolio, services, and contact us. and I'm going to create a copy of this too first and just bring it to this side. Then we can just group this, select all of this, group them. Let's let's just create a copy of this let's say heading or subheading. This is going to be get in touch, and this is going to be, let me just write your business name. There's no specific text. I'm just going to, this is going to be location, this is phone number, oops, typo, phone number, and I'm just going to write your business email. I'm going to select all of this and then group, and this is going to be follow us. Let's right click, go to plugins, and let's run Iconify again. So let's go for the classics. I'm just going to use Instagram, bring that in. Let's search LinkedIn. I'm just going to use this first one. Next is going to be, let's see, Pinterest. And finally, let's use, it's a different website. Let's use the current icon for it. I'm just going to select all of this. Let me make them much larger. Let me make it 32. Spacing really doesn't matter. I'm just going to bring this, and then I'm going to group. I'm going to just create a copy of this, and this is going to be our basically our all rights reserved and copyright terms and conditions, that kind of things. I'm going to just, let's put privacy policy. I'm going to change this to auto width, and let's make this terms of service, and we have legal. Let me just kind of space them out. Okay, we could group it, but it really doesn't matter. We've created our sort of placeholder text, our placeholder footer section. So I'm just going to select everything here, including the rectangle, and we're going to group that. Let me just reduce the height of this, and that's it. We've created the, it seems I created an extra image. I'm just going to delete this. With this, we've created the wireframe for our home page. Next page is going to be the about us. I'm just going to come to frame. We're going to use the same desktop frame, and this is going to be the about wireframe. I'm just going to use Ctrl, Alt, and C to copy the properties, and V, which is only just the layout guide. I'm going to copy this header section, select this frame and paste it. Let me start with this. I'm just going to create a copy of this and bring it into our frame. So okay, the about page, I'm just going to write about us here. Next is going to be an image. I'm just going to grab a copy of this image. You can copy anyone really. Going to bring it to this edge, extend it till it's on like 7 columns, maybe increase this. I'm going to copy this to text, bring a copy here, let me reduce the width of that. This is going to be who we are. Going to paste that, and I'm just going to create another copy of this image, bring it to this side, copy this text, bring it here, and this is going to be our mission. Next is going to be our theme, so I'm just going to copy this, change this to theme. I'm going to create a copy of this image. So we have 4 team members, so I'm going to put it on 3 columns. Reduce this. And I'm just going to create a copy of this text. Make this lorem ipsum. Let's reduce this. So, okay, let's make it 32. And I'll create a copy of this text. And we're going to trim most of it. Let me say 2 lines. Make the size 14, so it's much smaller. Okay, let me just reduce this. Okay, I'm just going to select all of this, group it, and I'm going to create 3 more copies, so we'll have 4 team member cards. Yeah. Next, let's create a copy of this, bring it down. I'm going to go to my text, which is achievements and milestones. I'm going to paste that here, and this is going to have cards and also an image. So what I'm going to do is I'll come to this home page, select this, create a copy of this card. Let's have 4 cards for now, and I'll just create a copy of the image, and I'm just going to bring this here. The thing about wireframes is that they may not end up looking like the final thing, which is totally fine. You just need placeholders to kind of know where everything goes and to actually have a wireframe to guide you. I'm just going to create a copy of this, and I'm going to bring that into this frame, and yeah, we are done with the about us wireframe. The next page is going to be the services page, so I'm just going to come here and we're going to start with a frame. It's going to be a desktop frame. I'm going to rename this services wireframe. I'm going to use Ctrl Alt and C, then Control Alt and V to paste this layout guide. I'm going to copy this header section, select this frame and paste it. I'm also going to just copy this heading text. I'm going to make this services. Let me increase the height of this frame. So I'm going to, let me just copy this text and this subheading and body text. Let's make this service 1. Let's copy an image placeholder. I'm going to bring one here like this. Let's move it out of frame a bit and just kind of have this here. I'm going to select this to bring this down, select this again, bring this down. I'm going to first group this, and then so I group it to select this circle that is here, hold shift and then drag, and then they'll swap places. Let me have this like this. So I'm just going to change this to 2 and 3. So what I'm going for is something similar to this. So this layout where you have the image and then the text, image and then the image and then text going in that pattern. That's what I want to do in this particular page. I'm going to increase the height of this frame to give ourselves more space to work with. So the next section is going to be the how we work section. So I'm just going to create a copy of this subheading. Just going to copy this text and I'm going to paste that here. Let me create a copy of this. I'm going to increase it to, let's say, this 64. Just going to type 0, 1. Bring another copy here. Reduce this to, let's say, 36. I'm going to bring a copy of this text here, and I want this to be on 2 or 3 lines. Let's make it 2. Just going to reduce the text, so this entire thing will be on 6 columns. I'm going to, let me say, move it here. Doesn't really matter. Let's just have a general layout. I'm going to group this and I'm going to create 3 more copies so that we'll have 4 of them, and this will be 2, 3 and 4. I want to go for something, I want to create this kind of layout. I'm just creating a rough version of it. Okay, so we're going to also have an image here. So I'm just going to bring one around here, let's say like this. Final detail is the footer section. I'm just going to reduce this, and with this we are done with the services wireframe. Next is the project wireframe. So go to frames, select desktop. I'm going to rename this project wireframe. I'm going to copy this, Control Alt C, the properties, and Control Alt V and paste the properties. let's copy this header section and I'm going to paste it here. Let's increase the height of this frame. So this one is going to be very quick. Let's first of all start with this. We're just going to write projects, and I'll create a copy of this. I'm just going to bring this around here. We're going to change this to project 1. I'll just increase the width of this till it's on, let's say this is 7 columns, and I'll just bring in a copy of this image here. Let me reduce the height to something around this. That's it. I'm going to just select this, create 2 more copies, and make this project 2 and 3. And we're going to copy the footer section, and I'm just going to bring it here, and I'm just going to reduce the height of this frame. And that's all for the project wireframe. Final page is the contact us page. So once again, let's go to frames, insert the desktop frame. Just going to position it here. This is going to be the contacts wireframe. Select this, Ctrl Alt C, copy the properties, and then Ctrl Alt V to paste. I'm going to copy this too and come to this frame and paste it here. Just going to increase this a little bit. Make this contact us. I'm just going to come here, bring a copy of this text, let's say around here. I'm just going to reduce the width, the length of the text till we have about, let's say, 4 lines, and we're just going to have, let's say, because we're going to have some contacts, some content here, and let's just add an image here. Let me just add a random call to action button. Since this looks kind of empty, I'll just let's make this actual text. I will just write start your project, make it an auto layout. Let's add a fill. Let's use the blue color. Once again, it really doesn't matter. I just use the same blue color we use for the only call to action button we've had in this wireframe. I'm going to bring a copy of this. Yeah. So I'm just going to reduce the height of this. Yes. And with that, we have created our contact us wireframe. We're going to, during the actual project, that's when you see the real content. I think there's going to be a form. We're going to create an actual form. So yeah, that's it. We are done with the entire wireframe for our projects. Now we can go on to create the web pages. So what I'm going to do is select this page, and I'm going to duplicate it. I like creating my web pages on the actual wireframe, so I'm just going to keep a copy separate. So I'm going to make this web pages, and I'm going to just delete the mood board. In actual practice, when I'm creating, the mood board stays while I'm creating the web page, because I'll be getting inspiration from them. For this project, I'm just going to delete it. Okay, so now we can start working on the home page. Oops, I just noticed that typo. I didn't spell web page correctly. And I'll just go back to this. I'm going to make it just home page. Okay, so to begin our project, the home page, I've brought in the images I'm going to use in this particular section, and the link to these images will be part of the GitHub repository, and the link to that GitHub repository will be in the description box below. Also, this is our style guide. Now, I tried to go through them one by one, but as you can see in this project, there's quite a bit. So you can just check the description box below, or you could check the GitHub repository. I'll put it in both of them, and you'll see the exact the name, the typography of all of this, and I'll also name it a specific way. So in the description and in the GitHub repository, I'm going to put the naming convention I use in the order I used it in this project for both the typography as well as the colors. So you can go ahead and check that, save it the way I named it, so you can follow along as I work on this particular video. Alright, I've saved all the typography and then also the color variable, the variables for the colors we're going to use. I use the same, as it appears here, is just how I saved it. If you want to know exactly, it's going to be in the description box below what it is. So let's just begin our project. So we'll start with the header section. This logo, I'm just going to ungroup this. I'm going to select this, and I'm going to change the typography to our logo. Next is going to be the actual name of our business, which will form the logo. I'm just going to go to the next page, and the name of this business disclaimer, this is AI generated text. All of this is an AI generated business. It's not a real business. It's not affiliated with any real business. Please, it's just, if there's any similarities with anything, it's just a coincidence. I'm just going to paste the name of our business there, and that's it. Next is going to be this header section. What I could do is select all of them, and we're going to change this to the header. And I'm just going to make this an auto layout, make the padding for the left and right and the bottom 0. So same thing with this one. I'm going to make individually auto layouts so that we can modify them all together. I'm going to select all 4, make the padding for the left and right 0, top and bottom 0. I'm going to select this, make it an auto layout, change the gap to 30, and I'm just going to move this here. Let me insert a text, so I'm just going to go to text, and this is going to be get free trial, and I'm going to make this an auto layout. The left and right padding stays 10, but the top and bottom will reduce it to 8. Let's change the text to, it was using the header, we are going to use button 1 here. Now let's go to fill, add the fill color. The fill color is going to be this one, the one I saved as primary 2. Change it to that. Let's go to the corner radius, make the corner radius 4, and for the text, change the text to this color which I made. We'll change the text color to background color. Now select this. Let me just align it so that when I change it, when I create an auto layout with it, it will be as close to what we want as possible. Make it an auto layout, and I'm just going to change this to center, and the spacing and every other thing, it looks fine. And we are done with the header section. I'm going to select this and I'm going to change the typography to heading. I'm going to go to my notes. We'll finish. We're done with the heading or the header, and we're in the hero section. I'm going to copy this text. Oops. Copy that and paste. Let's select this. You can just delete it. We don't need that. I'm going to select this, change this to hero section body. I'm going to go into my text, copy this, and I'm going to paste this here. I'm going to reduce this so that we have this on, check that it's aligned on 5 columns like this. Let's also reduce this one so that our text is on 2 lines. So we could just, okay, so it's aligned to the edge of just the end of the gutter, or after the 6th column, if it makes sense. So just count 6 columns and just at the edge of the gutter here. For this, we can actually reuse this. I'm going to copy this text that says start your free trial. I'm going to paste my text, and I can just select the text box and change it to button 1. Select this, change the top and bottom padding to 8. Corner radius is already 4. What we're going to change is the fill color to this color, primary 2, and we're going to change the text color to the background color. I'm going to create another copy of this, and we're going to copy this text, and I'm going to paste. So you see, through the project, sometimes I'll change the color, sometimes I won't. It's because eventually after we're done, I'll go through section by section to check, and then I'll not even change the background. But if I'm not changing the colors, that's why. So I'll change sometimes I won't. I'm just going to select these 2 buttons, make them an auto layout, gap 25. Next, select these 3 elements for our hero section, make them an auto layout, and the spacing, the gap is going to be 20. And we are done with the text. We can now delete this image placeholder, and we can bring in the actual image for our hero section. And this is the image. Do I need to create a copy? Let me just bring in the actual image. There's no need to just create a copy. I'm just going to bring it here. So we're going to make the width 1040 like this. So before figure out, I'm going to use the left square bracket to send it to back. So we need to kind of place everything in its appropriate position. Let's start with the header section. The header section is supposed to be 65 from the top of our frame, and I'm just going to check. It's currently 65. Select this header section, this hero section text, make their spacing 145. For this, I'm just kind of going to move it like this, so part of the image is kind of out of the frame. No worries, and just make sure that the image is 100 from the top of the frame, and that's it. So this part of the image is kind of, let's say, overlapping behind the button, but it's overlapping. But yeah, that's it. So we can run the prototype for this and see what our hero section looks like. So then let me change this to fit with, and this is what the hero section looks like. Now we can go back to our design tab and we can move on to the next section. So what we can do, let's start with the text. Select this introduction text and change it to subheading. I'm just going to zoom in so it's aligned to the seventh column, not the sixth. I'm going to select this and I'm going to change this to body typography, and I'm going to copy all of this text and I'm going to paste. So I'm going to make from this remote themes, we're going to make it bullet points. Just use, I believe it's hyphen and then space to make it a bullet point. Okay, now I'm just going to, so the edge of this text should like this entire text should just cover 6 columns, these 6 columns on the right. I'm going to select both of these, auto layouts, gap 20. For the image, I'm going to delete this. This is the image we're going to use, and we're going to change the dimensions to 620. This image will be aligned to this column here, the end of the 6th column. I'm going to select both of them, Alt V, and we're going to just group it. That's it for the introduction section. I'm going to go, hasn't updated yet. Okay, it has. Yeah, this is our introduction section. What I'm going to do now is just increase the height of our frame so that we'll have a bit more space to work with. Just going to move all of this down. I'm going to select all of this 3, delete it. I'm going to ungroup this and delete this rectangle. Let's now create an ellipse. I'm just going to insert an ellipse there. We're going to change the dimensions to 60 by 60. Let's change the fill to this primary one. Next is going to be an icon, so I'm just going to right click, go to plugins and iconify. So just search for clipboard and we're going to use material design icons as the icon set, and we're going to use this icon. I'm just going to bring an instance of it into our frame and I'm going to put it over this. Change the dimensions to 35 by 35, and while we're here, to make it easier, let's change the color to our background color. Select this two, make it an auto layout. Next, select this, change this to the mini heading typography. Let's go to our notes. I'm going to copy the text and paste this here. I'm going to change the height of this text to the width to 220. Select this text, change this to description, and we're going to go into our notes once more I'm going to copy this text and I'm going to paste this here. Change the width of this text to 344. I'm going to create a copy of this text so I can quickly create a button, and this is going to be read more. Change the typography of the text to button 2. Make it another layout. The left and right padding will be 20 and the top and bottom padding is going to be 8. Corner radius is going to be 4. Add a fill color. Change the fill color to primary 2, which is this lighter green color, and select the text. Change the color to the background color. Now let's select all of this. Let's align it to the left. Change the spacing to 20, and we can now make it another layout. Let's change the padding on the left and right to 20, top and bottom 20. Let's extend the width so that it would fit on 4 columns. Next, let's change the corner radius to 8. Add a fill. Change the fill color to secondary, the secondary color. And this is our first card that we're going to use to create the other 5 cards. Before we move on, let me just select this key services and I'm going to change this to subheading. Okay, I'm going to select this card and I'm going to create another 5. So I'm going to have one here, another one here, and I can just select these 3 and create another set of copies, and the spacing between these 2 rows is 24 to match the gutter. So let's start with this icon. I'm going to right click on that icon, go to plugins, iconify. This icon is going to be message, and once again we're going to use material design icons, and I'm going to select this one and we're going to replace icon, and I can close this. Let's go and grab the text for this second one. This is text, charts and messaging, and I'm just going to paste that here. Next is going to be the description text. Copy that and we're going to paste it here, and we're done with this one. Let's move on to the next one. This next one, once again, select to you're selected on your icon, go to plugins, run iconify, and we're going to search for calendar. Once again, let's go to material design icons, and I want to use this one, and we're going to replace. Let's go back to our notes. This is integrated calendar. Paste. Let's copy our text. And I'm going to paste. Next one, select this icon. Once again, go to plugins, iconify. This is going to be folder. we're going to use material design icons, and I'm going to use this icon here. We're going to replace icon, and next is file sharing and collaboration, and I'm going to paste, and I'm going to copy the description text, and I'm going to paste it here. Let's move on to the next card. Select this icon, right click, go to plugins, and then run iconify. Search for timer. We're going to go to material design icons, and I'm going to, let's just use this one, and I'm going to replace icon. Go to our notes, copy this text, and we're going to paste here. Let's go back to our notes. I'm going to copy this description text, and we're going to paste. I want our text to be on 4 lines so that all of them will have, all the cards will have exactly the same length. So I just reduce the width of our text. I'm going to go to this one, right click, plugin, iconify. Final one is going to be lock. Once again, material design icons, and this second one, replace icon, and we are just going to copy this, paste. Let's copy the description text, and we're going to paste. Once again, I'm just going to reduce the width of this text box. I want everything to be on 4 lines. Alright, let's zoom out. I'm going to check the spacing between these two. It's currently 48. I want it to be 20. And I want to group everything together. 1, 2, 3. Now it's currently 20. Select all of this, group, and we're going to go to our prototype view, and I'll give this a moment to load if it will. Alright, so we have our key services section. So first, what we're going to do, select this image and just delete it. I'm going to kind of move this to this side and just use this. We'll just reuse this text. I'll start with this, change this to subheading, and change this to the body text. Now I'm going to grab the content for this part, and I'm going to paste it. I'm going to just reduce this till we have something about that. This is 542. That's the width I'm currently using. I'm going to select this to just align it to the left and make it an auto layout. Gap is going to be 20. I'm going to grab this text. I'm just going to select this two and delete it. Select this text, change this to mini heading. Let me just create a copy for now. So this is the mini heading or subheading for this part, I'm going to make it an auto width. This changed to body, the body typography. Okay, I'm just going to bring this up here, and now we're going to copy this text. Select this, and we're going to paste. I'm going to reduce the width of this till it's, let's see, this is 501. I'm going to select both of them, make it an auto layout. Gap is going to be 5. What I'm going to do is duplicate this 5 more times. I believe we can duplicate it more if we need any more. So I'm going to, okay, this is the first one. I'm just going to move it up here. Let's go to the next one. I'm going to copy this, paste. Let's copy the next text. We're going to paste that. Let's go to the next one. I'm going to paste. Let's select this text, and we're going to paste. Next one is fast setup and zero learning curve. And I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go to the next one. It seems like we're going to need one more. No worries. I'm going to paste. Let's copy the next text. I'm going to paste, so I'm going to need a bit more space. Okay, I can just move everything up. Okay, let's create a copy of this one so we can create the final one. And I'm going to copy this. Paste, and let's select and copy the final text. And I'm going to paste. Alright, now that we have this, I'm going to select all of this text, auto layouts, and we're going to make the gap 20. Now what we're going to do is align this to the left, to the right, so that the edge on the right side will be here. Now let's go in and bring our image. So the image we're going to use for this section is this one. I'm going to check the height of this entire auto layout, and that frame, it's 816. So I'm just going to select this image and make the height 816, and I'll align it to the left edge of our frame. I'll use my left square bracket to send it to the back. Select both of them, Alt V to align them vertically, Ctrl G to group. That's it for this section. Let's go to the, I know that everything is kind of tight now. When we're done, we'll move everything around. And this is the white choosers section. Let's go back to the design tab. The next section is the client testimonial section. I'm just going to increase the height of our frame. Okay, I'm just going to, let me start by ungrouping this because I want to reduce some of the text. I'm just going to select this and delete it. Select this text and make sure it's at the edge, okay, and change it to our subheading typography. Next, we're going to, let me bring this down. All right, let's start with a rectangle. So I'm just going to insert a rectangle, and we're going to change the width to 510, and the height is going to be 165. Let me just have it here. Change the corner radius to 8, add a stroke, and then remove the fill. The stroke color is just going to be E1, 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 and the weight is going to be 3. Let's insert another rectangle around here. Height is going to be 165, and the width is just going to be 10. Let me align it here. Okay, open this corner radius, make the top left corner 8 and the bottom left corner 8. Change the fill color to the same color as our stroke, like this. Next, we're going to insert a text. So I'm just going to insert this. Now select this quotation mark. I'm going to select this. Let's make this Baskerville old face. Now change the size to 96, and we're going to change the height to 86, or let's make it 84. We're going to change the color to E1, 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 and I'm just going to have this around here, and what we're going to do is rotate it flip horizontal. Okay, next let's now I'll just kind of place it here. When I'm done, if I need to move it, I will. Let's now insert our image. Let me zoom out. Okay, we have our image. We can just prepare it out here before bring it into our frame. Let's insert an ellipse. I'm just going to insert that. Change the width to 115 and the height to 115. I'm going to create multiple copies of this ellipse. Oops. Now I'm going to bring this over our image, send it to the back, select the image, and we are going to use intersect. While that's selected, I'll just come to this option, and then I'm going to crop, and I'm going to recenter this image, maybe even zoom in a bit. Let's see, like this. Now just close that. Same with this image. I'll bring it in, send it to the back, then select the image, and we're going to intersect. I'm going to leave this one as it is. Select this, bring it over this image, send it to the back, select the image, intersect, and I'm going to come here, crop. Now just recenter it. Let me see, like this. Close this. Finally, same with this image. I'm just going to send it to the back, select the image, go to the merge options, and then intersect, and select the image. Let's crop. Maybe I'll just increase this so I can center this image more. Okay, Now that we've created these images I will use in our client testimonial section, just lock the aspect ratio. If you don't, this is, well, even when I'm holding shift, sometimes it will actually make the that one works fine. But okay, if you're using images like this one was a perfect square, but this one isn't, so when you try to change it, it will may break the intersect. So just lock the aspect ratio of all images so that you can resize them easily without having any issues. Same with this one. If I try to, even while holding shift, it's going to break. So just lock the aspect ratio. All right, let's start with this image. We'll first create this client testimonial section, and then we'll use it to create the rest. And I'm just going to center this image here. Now for our text, I'm going to bring them forward and then add it here. Let's start with the name. I'm going to go to my notes, and the first client is Lina Rodriguez, and I'm going to paste. Okay, I haven't changed the font. Let's change this to mini heading like this. Next, let me just create a copy of this. We're going to change this to title, and I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste. Let me make this auto width. I'm going to select these two text boxes, make it an auto layout. The current gap is 0, that's fine. This one is going to be description, so I'm just going to come here and we're going to use description, and I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste. Let's reduce the width of this a bit, and I'm just going to place this here. Select this to auto layout. Gap is supposed to be 10. Let's select this rectangle, this image. The spacing is supposed to be 20. Select this image and this frame, make the spacing 20. And we're just going to make sure we center. Okay, this image, let me check. Let me just use this as a guide. I'm just going to select this image, Alt V. Now the image ended up moving. I don't want the image to move. Okay, this time I was able to move the text and then center it. This kind of looks, when I say dull, I like the way it is, but it still kind of looks. Let's add a bit of color. Let's select these two and let's change their color to primary 1, so I will have that orange color. Now I can just select everything and group, and we have our first client testimonial card. We'll now duplicate this to create more. So we have 4 testimonials. I'm going to copy this till we have 4 copies. Let's zoom out. I'm going to select this image, cut, and Control Shift R to paste. Or when I was playing around with it, I unintentionally changed the dimensions, so that looked a bit bigger. Let me just change dimensions. It's supposed to be 115 by 115. Okay, I'm going to cut it. I'm going to replace. I'm going to go to my notes. I'm going to copy this name, select this, paste. Let's copy the title, and I'm going to paste. Next is the description text. and I'm just going to copy this and then paste. Let's move on to the next one. I'm going to select this image, cut, and I'm going to replace it here. Let's go to the next text. I'm going to copy this, start with the name. Next is going to be this. I'm going to copy this and paste. Finally is the description. I'm going to copy this text and I'm going to paste it here. Let's move on to the final testimonial. Let's start with the image. I'm going to cut that and I'm going to replace it here. I'm going to copy this, paste, copy the title, I'm going to paste, and finally I'm going to copy the description text. I'm going to paste. Now let's select, I just want to make sure that it's aligned. Okay, I'm going to select all of this and I'm going to make the spacing 20. Let's bring in this image into our frame and I'm going to make the width or height 720, so it's aligned to here, so it's actually touching this, but since the background is white, it's going to look like there's some space, and I'm just going to align it till it's aligned on all these testimonials like this, and we can just select everything in this entire section and group it. Let's go to our prototype view, and this is what the client testimonials section looks like. Next section is going to be the footer section, so I'm just going to start with this. I'm just going to ungroup this. Let me start with this rectangle. The height is supposed to be 415, and I'm going to change the fill to this text column. Next, the logo, I could just, let me go to the top of my page and I'm going to copy this and I'm going to come here and I'm going to replace this. I'm going to change this to the background color, and it's going to be aligned on the second column. I'm going to just move this down, change this to the footer body text, and I'm going to create another one. Let me go to my notes. This is the first text. I'm going to copy this, paste that here, and increase this, just make it auto width, and we're going to copy the remaining text and I'm going to paste it here. Let's increase this, let's see, like this. Okay, so I'm going to select this to make it an auto layout. Make the gap 10, select this and this. Auto layout gap is going to be 20. Let's move to the quick links. Now we'll select this. Let me just ungroup this. Select these quick links. I'm going to, okay, let's finish up, then I'll align it. Okay, we don't have to actually. I'm going to select the typography and we're going to change this to footer heading. So this about, let's just make it about, not about us. It's portfolio then services. So I'm just going to swap their position, and then it's just contacts. I'm going to select all of this and I'm going to change the typography to footer body like this. Now we can make this an auto layout, make a gap 10, select this and this, make this an auto layout, and I'm going to make the gap 15. And we're done with the quick links. Next is going to be this section. I'm just going to ungroup it. I'm going to change the typography of this text to the footer heading text. I'm going to go to my notes. This is contact us, and I'm going to paste that here. I'm going to select these 3 text boxes and we're going to change the typography to the footer body text typography, and I'm going to delete this last one. Let's copy this text. It's just a placeholder text for email. I'm going to paste. I'm going to copy this placeholder for phone number, paste. Finally, copy this placeholder text for just the state and location, and I'm going to paste it. Select this tree, make it an auto layout, gap is 10. Now we're going to select this heading and this one, auto layouts, and we're going to make the gap 15. Next, I'm just going to move this down. I'm going to create a copy of this text. Let me create another copy. Let me select this, change the typography to footer heading. I'm going to come to my notes. This is newsletter, copy that, and I'm going to paste this text, make it the footer body typography. Let's copy the other text and I'm going to paste here. Let's change the width of this text so that we'll have all of this on 2 lines like this. Let's bring in another text box, change this to same footer body, and I'm going to copy this and then paste. Make this an auto layout, make the top and bottom padding 8, corner radius is 4, add a fill, make the fill this primary 1 color. Now you can select these 3 items, make it an auto layout, or no, sorry, this first 2, make it an auto layout, make the gap 10, and then select the heading and this, make it an auto layout, make the gap 15, and we have this newsletter section. This follow us section, let me move this up so it doesn't get too confusing. Let's work on this follow us section. I'm going to start by ungrouping this. So select this follow us, and we're going to, let me use the same naming convention I've been using. I'm going to change this to the footer heading, and these icons, I'm going to move X here. Let's run Iconify. So I'm just going to go to plugins and I'm going to run Iconify. I'm going to search for Facebook and I'll just use the first icon, and I'm going to search for YouTube. Let's just use the first icon. I'm just going to select this, delete it. Select all the icons, change their dimensions, width or height to 22, and all of them will reduce. We'll change up accordingly. I'm just going to bring all of this, select all of the icons, make it an auto layout, and gap is going to be 10. Select the heading and the icons, make the gap 15. I just want to check. Okay, I've changed this. Now let's work on this disclaimer, that bottom section. For this section here, let me make this auto length. I'm going to copy this all rights reserved section, and I'm going to paste. First, let me change this to our footer body, and I'm just going to select this collab suit, just the collab suit, and I'm going to change that to footer logo. Let's go to this. I'm not going to change any details here. I'm just going to make them, okay, they are auto width and auto layouts, gap 25, so that I don't have to figure out the spacing later. I'll just align this one to the edge of that layout guide, and I'm going to align this one to the edge here, and I'm just going to select both of them, and we have a hot layout. Now let's arrange all the contents of our footer section. Let me start with this rectangle and make sure I have it. I don't know why the width of my frame change. I'm just going to change that back to 1440. So this particular one is going to be aligned to the second column. Hold Alt down, and we want this to be 120 from the top of this rectangle. So I'm just going to move this till I have 120. Okay, we want it 120 from the top of the rectangle. This, we want it to be 50 from the top of the rectangle. So I'm going to move this up till it's 50. Now I'm just going to move this, and it's not aligning as I want. Let me try again. It's not, so I'll just do it manually. Okay, one, close enough. I'm going to, okay, and this is also 50 from the top of the rectangle. Now the edge of this one will be touching the edge of the last column, and I'm just going to select all of this. Let's go to the alignment, and we're going to distribute horizontal spacing. Select this one, align it to this newsletter section, and the gap between these two, the spacing is going to be 30. And finally, for this one, we want it to be 15 from the bottom. So I'm just going to use my arrow key to move it down, and I'm just going to keep moving it till it's 15 from the bottom of. Let me make sure I'm not aligning to the bottom of the frame instead of the bottom of the rectangle. I don't know if that makes sense. So I'm just going to check. Okay, it's 15 from the bottom of the rectangle, and I'm just going to select all of this and I'm going to group it. Let's go to our prototype view, and this is our footer section. Now we're going to go up, change the colors of our text and elements, including the background, and then we'll space things out. Let's start with this header section. So whatever is black, I'm going to change to text color, because I know that that black color is what was used in the text. Same with this one, whatever is black, change it to text. I'm going to zoom out again. Same with this one, change black to our text color. I'm going to select this entire section. Again, whatever is black, change it to text, and you can see that all other colors I used up when I had to. I'm going to move to this section, change this to our text color. This as well, I'm going to change it to the text color. This, I know that whatever is white here is supposed to be it's still the same color, but just to save it, we're going to change it to background. So our background is white and we're going to save it. I'm just going to do the same for, I selected the entire frame, the fill, change it to our background color. I'm still having, let me figure out where that white color is. So this is why it's good to always check background, text, but when I select the frame, I'm seeing a white color. I think what is going to happen is after I'm done with this, ooh, there it is. Oh, there was an extra icon here, so delete. So that's how I tend to check to make sure all my colors are what they are. So if I use this color, using this will show you what is using that particular color, if that makes sense. Okay, so once again, I'm going to select the home page, and the only exception is this color, but everything is fine. Now we've already spaced the hero section properly, so no need to make any changes there. I'm going to select that image and I'm going to select all other sections, and we're going to change the spacing to 150. Then I'll select the frame and reduce the height of this frame like this. Okay, that's it. Let's see our home page in our prototype view. I don't know if the spacing has updated. Okay, it has. So this is what the home page of our website looks like, and we are done with the home page. So let's start working on the about us page. I'm going to select this header section and I'll delete it. I'll select the header section here, copy it, and I'll come here and paste this text. I'm just going to change this to about. I'm going to move it up a bit, change the typography to heading. We're going to select this image. I'm just going to delete it. Let me move this text to this side. I'm going to select this subheading and we'll change the typography to subheading, and change this body text, the typography to body. Okay, we're going to the next page now. We have our disclaimer once again. This is all AI generated text. This is not a real business. I'm just going to copy the who we are text and I'm going to paste. I'm going to change the width of this text to 455. I don't like that extra word that is just there. I'm just going to remove that. Let me change it to 455 again. Okay, it was because of that extra line that it was looking weird. And I'm going to just make sure it's aligned to the edge. Select both of them, auto layouts, change gap to 20. I already have my images within this design file. I'm going to bring this in and I'm just going to reduce this till it's on the edge here, and then it's supposed to be on 7 columns and just at the edge of this gutter here. So you have the 7 columns from if you're counting from the right and just at the edge of this gutter. I'm just going to select both of them, use Alt V to align them vertically, and I can just group them. And that is the who we are section. Let's go to the next page. This one hasn't uploaded, it hasn't updated yet. Okay, this is the who we are section. We're going to move on to the next section, which is our mission. I'm going to delete this. I'm going to select this text box and move it to this side. Select this subheading, change it to our subheading typography, and change the typography of this text box to our body text typography. I'm going to go into my notes and I'm going to copy the mission and I'm going to paste. The width for this is 486. I'm just going to leave it like that. Select both of them, auto layouts, make the gap 20. I'm going to bring in our image and I'm going to resize it like this. So align it to the first column, the edge of the first column, and you have it on 7 columns and then just at the edge of the gutter here, like that. Select both of them, Alt V to align vertically, and then group. Let's see it in the prototype view. Yeah, this is the mission section. Let's move to the next section, which is going to be our theme. I'm going to select that and I'm going to change it to the subheading typography. Let me delete these 3. Let's start with this one. I'm going to ungroup it. So the width for this, we want it to be on 3 columns and the width is 282. The height is going to be 375. Okay. Next is going to be this. Change this typography of this text to mini heading, like that. Now let's go to our team members. Let me grab the name of our first team member and I'm going to paste. I'm going to duplicate this text. This we're going to change to title and I'm going to grab this and I'm going to paste. Let me make this, okay, just leave it as it is. I'm going to select this 2, auto layout, make the gap 0. This is going to be description. I'm going to change the typography to description and I'm going to copy this text and we're going to paste it here. I'm going to select this two. Auto layouts gap is going to be 10, and we can select this two and then also make it an auto layouts gap is also going to be 0. Let me grab my image for our first team member. So the width for the images is going to be 282. Let me select this 3 first and change their width to 282. This one I'll do it when I get it. So I'm going to select this image and I'm going to select crop, and I'm going to reduce the height to 375. And I'll just leave this image as it is. Let's do the same for this one. I'm going to double click on crop. I'm going to reduce the width of this image like this. Let's say around here. So it's supposed to be 282. Height is 375. I'm just going to, let me say, come up here and just reduce it. So it's 282 by 375. I'm going to close this. Same with this one. The width is already 282. I'm going to reduce this to 375. Let me get a bit closer. And I'm going to just maybe zoom in a bit on this image. Let's see, like this. And finally, I'm going to crop this image, change the height to 375. I'm going to hold shift and then you can drag this image and kind of zoom into it. I'm going to bring this down. Okay, so this is going to be our first image. I'm going to cut, select this placeholder, Control Shift R to replace this. Now we can just duplicate this so we can reuse it for our other team members. I'm going to grab a second image and I'm going to replace it here. I'm going to get my text. I'm going to start with the name and I'm going to paste. Next is going to be title or role, paste. Finally is description. Next is this. I'm going to select this image, cut, Control Shift R, and I'm going to copy this name first. Next is title. Going to paste and then description. Final team member is going to be this. I'm going to cut the image, Control Shift R to replace, and I'm going to copy the name first. And I'm going to paste title. I'm going to copy that, paste, and finally we have description. And I'm just going to paste that here. Okay, that's it for the team members. I'm just going to title, I want it to be 20 from our team member cards. I'm going to group this. Let's take a moment to look at it in the prototype view. I'm going to give this a moment. And yeah, this is it. This is our team section. Let's move on to the achievements and milestones section. I'm going to start with the subheading and we'll change the typography to a subheading typography. These cards are just going to delete all of them. We'll reuse the card in this section. I'm just going to copy one of the cards there and I'm going to paste it here. Okay, let's start from top to bottom. So what we're going to do, first select this frame, change the width to 75, height to 75, make the alignment center. Next, corner radius, make it 40. This icon, change this to 50 by 50. Select this read more button and delete. Now select the entire frame, change the padding for left and right to 16 and the padding for top and bottom is 30. Now you can just reduce the width of this entire card so that this time it's on 3 columns. Now we can now start substituting the content. Let's start with okay, my achievements and milestones. I'm going to copy this and paste. Let's increase the width of this. It's currently 242, that's fine. And I'm going to copy this text here and I'm going to paste it. Okay, so maybe I'll just reduce this a little bit. Let me show you what okay, the width is 235. Finally, of course, is this icon. So I'm just going to double click, right click, and we're going to go to plugins and we're going to run Iconify. I'm going to search for check and I'm just going to use this first one here and I'm going to replace icon. Okay, now that we have so the spacing and everything fits the way we want, we'll just create more copies of this so we have a total of 4. I want to make it 24. Let's go back to our notes and I'm going to copy the second achievement, paste. I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste this here. I'll have to move this down a bit. Now let's substitute the icon. I'm going to right click, go to plugins, Iconify. I'm going to search for globe and I want a particular globe with a lot of detail, or not. Let me use it just by sets. These for adding icons, I want this particular icon and I'm just going to replace icon. Let's go to the next card. I'm going to copy this achievement, paste, and I'm going to copy this description, and I'm going to paste. Next, I'm going to substitute this icon. So I'm just going to right click, plugins, and we'll run Iconify. This is going to be handshake. And I'll just scroll down a bit. Okay, this is the icon I want. I'm going to replace icon, and we're going to work on our final card. I'm going to select this and copy, and we're going to paste the achievement, and I'm going to copy this description, paste, and let's substitute the icon. Right click on the icon, plugins, Iconify, and this is light bulb. I'm just going to scroll down a bit. I'm going to use this one. I'm going to replace icon. I want all our cards to be the same height, so I'll just increase this one till it's the same height with this one. Same with this one. I'll just increase the height till it's the same with the one on the right. I'll just make sure the spacing should be 24, and for this 24, and I'm just going to manually move this down using my arrow key, or you could use your mouse. For I'm going to make this 20, the spacing between this heading and this cards. So I just went in to grab my image, but I noticed this. I didn't type in the description of Chloe. Sorry about that. I'm just going to do that now. I'm going to copy Chloe's description, and I'm going to paste. Alright, now let's go back to our achievement and milestones. I'll delete this. I'll select this image, and I'm going to change the width or height to 690. And I'm going to bring this image into our frame. We're going to give it the same spacing of 24 from the cards, and we're just going to I'm trying to align this image to, I don't want to group, or I could just select all of that, group, select this, Alt V, and then I'll just check the spacing of this. So the spacing in between each card on this side is 24, from top to bottom is 24, spacing between this group containing all our cards and the image is 24. Align them vertically, and this is also going to be 20. I'm going to select everything and group. Now let's go back to our home page. I'm going to copy this footer section and Ctrl Shift R, and we have our footer section. I'm going to scroll back up to our frame, and we're going to change the colors. I'm going to select the heading, change it to our text color. Select this, whatever is black, change it to the text color. Let's check this, whatever is black, just change it to our text color. And finally, same with this one, change whatever is black to text. Now let's do the spacing. I'm going to select this two. Spacing is going to be 80. Then from this about to this section, 30. I'm going to zoom out, select all other sections, including the footer section, make it 150. And I'm going to select the frame and reduce the height so to fit our entire web page like this. Okay, let's see what it looks like in our prototype view. I'm just going to give this a moment to load, and there we go. We have our about page. Okay, that's it. Let's move on to the next one. So I brought in my images for the services section. I checked this and I have changed the background color to a background color, and I think it was this section I didn't change, but whenever you're done with any page, just select. That's what I did. After I closed it, I went to go and get my images. I selected the entire page to check, and that was when I saw that I missed some colors. So I always encourage you, just select the entire page and to tell you whether you've missed some colors or not, or you've changed. If you want to change them as you go, the colors as you go, that's fine, but I tend to do my own last to make it easier for me. So I'm going to start with this header section, delete, and I'm going to copy and I'm going to paste that header section there. Select these services. I want to make sure it's aligned to that column on the left. I'm going to change this to heading. Let's start with our first service. I'm just going to, okay, after the service there's a bit of text, so I think I'm going to have to move things down. Let me just delete these images. We won't need them, but we'll need the text. I'm just going to delete this text box, those image placeholders, and I'm going to create a copy of this text. Just going to make sure it's aligned to the left, change the font to body text, and I'm going to go to the next page, and this is just a brief description before the services. I'm going to paste, and I'm going to increase this till I have this extra space isn't supposed to be there. Or I could just, let me just leave it. If I extend it, how would it? Okay, so I'll have this, let me see, width is 765 for this text box. I'm going to select this to make it an auto layout, and gap is already 20. We're going to leave it like that. Let's go to service 1. Let's start with this subheading. Change the typography to the subheading typography, and the first service is project management. Going to paste, select this text box, make it the body text. I'm going to copy this, let's paste. I'm going to change the width of our text box to 588, and we're going to make this section downward bullet points, so it's hyphen then space. And final one, you can select this to make it an auto layout, and I'm going to make the gap 20. Let me bring in the image for this first one. Going to bring it in, change the height to 416, and I'm just going to move it till it's about, let's see, just at the center of our frame, and Alt V to align vertically, and then I'm going to group it. Let's see it in the prototype view. Let me go to the next page. Give this a moment. Okay, this is our first service. Let's zoom out, select the frame, increase the height, select this entire how we work section and the footer section and bring it down, and I'm going to select all of this and delete. I'm going to select this frame that has our text, copy that, and I'm just going to paste here. I'm going to bring this around. We have 6 services, so I'm going to align it to this side, and I'll create another copy here, another one here, one here, and finally we have one here. So this is going to be the layout for where we're going to add the content for our 5 other services. I'm going to go to my notes and I'll copy the subheading or the heading for this, and I'm going to paste this here. We're going to leave it on 2 lines like that, and I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste. Let's select this and make this 4 bullet points. And I'll just select the entire auto layout and the entire frame, and I'll just reduce it so it will fit within these 6 columns. Let's bring in our image, which is this one. Change the height to 434, and I'm going to align it here. I'll send it to the back using my left square arrow side to be behind this, just in case it overlaps. I'm going to align them, select both of them, and then group. Let's look at it in our prototype view. This is what our second service looks like. Let's move to the next section. I'm going to copy this text and I'm going to paste it here. Let's copy the remaining text and I'm going to paste that here. I'm going to just make this bullet points. I'll just reduce this so it will be on 6 columns. Bring in the image for this section. Make the width or height 588, and we're just going to move this to this edge, select these 2, and let's align them vertically using Alt-V. And I'm going to group. I'm going to go to our prototype view so we can see what this section looks like, and that's it. Let's move on to the next one. I'm going to copy my text for the 4th service, and I'm just going to paste it here. I'm going to leave it on 2 lines like this. Let me align it properly. And I'm going to grab the remaining text, copy this, select this section, and then paste. Make the last 4 lines bullet points. And we're just going to grab the image for this section, which is this one. Change the width to 612, and I'm just going to bring it till it's at the center of the entire frame. That's the right edge of the images on the center of the frame. I'm going to select these two and align them vertically, and we can now group. Let's look at it in our okay, this is what it looks like. Let's go back to our design. Let's copy the heading for this section. I'm just going to copy that and I'm going to paste it here. Let's grab the remaining text and I'm going to paste it. Make this last 4 bullet points. And I'm going to just move this till it's on the edge there, and we're going to bring in our image, which is this one. Change the width to 732, and I'm going to move this, but what we're going to do first, let's align it to this edge. Then I'm going to use my left square bracket to send it to the back. Select these two, Alt V to align them vertically, then group. Let's go to view. Yeah, this is what this section looks like. Let's work on this section. I'm going to go to my notes, copy the heading for this service and paste, and I'm going to copy the remaining text and paste. I'm going to start with this. We're going to make them bullet points. And I'm just going to move this, and then I'm just going to reduce the size on 6 columns. Let's bring in the image for this section and make the width or height 588, and just bring it in. Let me move things. I'm going to increase the height of this frame. And select everything and just move it down. Okay. I'm going to align this image to that column. Select both of them, Alt V to align vertically, and Ctrl G to group. Let's look at this final section in our prototype view. Yeah, this is it. We're done with our services sections. Now let's work on this section. I'm going to start with this text. I'm just going to move this up, and let's change the typography to subheading. Next, let me just create a copy of this text. Change this one to the body typography. I'm going to go to my notes and I'm going to copy this text, and we're just going to paste it. I'm going to reduce the width of this till it's around here, so width is 521. Okay, next we're going to insert an ellipse, a circle. Just bring that here. Dimension is going to be 53 by 53. Next is going to be the fill. We're going to change the fill to background and then add a stroke. The stroke color is going to be this text color. Let me ungroup this. I want to reuse this digits. I'm going to bring this to the front. Change this to the typography to mini heading and center it on this ellipse. Okay, I'm just going to select these two and group. Let's select this, and I'm going to change this to mini heading as well. Mini heading. Let's grab our text for this. This is the first one. Copy that and then paste. Let's select this text, make it the body text, and let's grab the text for number 1, copy this, we're going to paste. We'll just increase this till it's on 6 columns, but the width is 510, so you can just have that. I'm going to select this to make it an auto layout. Gap is 5. Now you can select this to make it an auto layout, make the alignment top, and gap is 25, and I can just select all of this and we can delete it. We'll reuse this one to create the other how we work section. I'm just going to I want to remove this period. I'm just going to remove that, select the circle, and this I'm going to use Alt H to align that. Create 3 more copies of this, so 2 and 3. I'm going to start with this one, change this to 2. I'm just going to select the ellipse and the digits, Alt H to align them horizontally. Go to our text, copy the heading for number 2, and I'm just going to paste that here. Move to the next. I'm going to copy the description here, paste. Let's come to this one, make it 3, select the ellipse and the digit Alt H to align them horizontally. Let's grab the heading for number 3, copy that, and I'm going to paste. Let's grab the remaining text, copy this and paste. Finally, we have number 4. I'm going to select the ellipse and the digits Alt H, go to my notes, copy this, and I'm going to paste that here. Finally, copy this, and I'm going to paste that. Let's I'm just going to go to the header section, and I'm just going to copy this call to action button, and I'm going to scroll back down, and I'm going to paste here. I'm just going to change this to get started. Let's select all of these, including the call to action button. I'm just going to make sure they are aligned to that column, and I'm going to make the spacing 20. The final detail for this section is just before we add our image is a line. So I'm just going to start from this number 1 here, hold shift, and then I'm just going to create the line like that. So the line currently for me is 417. So as long as you have a line that goes from 1 to 4, that's fine. I'm just going to move the line so that it's centered on the all of these digits, the numbers. So let's go to stroke. We can just change the color to our text color, why not? Then for just click on this stroke settings, and the style, make it dashed, and make the dash 4. While the line is selected, click on your left square bracket to send it to the back, and you have this. Now I'm going to select, let's start with just this section, and we're going to group that. I want to group everything together at once, so I'm just going to delete this. I'm going to get my image. Let me zoom out, and I'm just going to bring in this image. So what we're going to do is change the height to 575, then align it to the edge of the right side of your edge on the right is on the edge of the right side of our frame. Now use left square brackets to send this image to the back. Select, let's try aligning it. If you know what, I'm just going to select this image and this group, Alt V. I wanted the image to move. Let me see if I can. I want to align the image because the spacing for this side is already okay. I can't get it to move, so I'm just going to select this tree because I want their spacing to be 20. Let me select this to, okay, 21. So I'll just move this 1. And now if I select it, it's now all 20. So group this section, align it to this image, and then make sure that the spacing for all of these elements on the right are all 20. I'm just going to zoom out, select everything, and I'm going to group this. Let's copy this footer section, and I'm going to replace it here. Let's scroll back to the top of our page. I'm going to select the entire frame, and let's start with the fill of the frame, so we can just go ahead and change that. I'm going to change that to background. And while we're selected here, this is something I do sometimes when I'm confident that all dark colors are this black color, that's our text, or wherever I use them. Say for the stroke of the circle, I'm just going to change this from here, and I've changed the entire colors to the variable that we saved. So select this header section and these services, make the spacing 80. Now I'm going to zoom out, Control A to select everything, but deselect the header section. Now you're selecting everything, including the footer section, like that. Change the spacing to 120. I'm going to go to my frame, and I'm just going to reduce this. Okay, so let's zoom out and let's go to this view and see what our web page. Let's load. Okay, so this is our services page. Yeah, we're done with this page. Now we can move on to the next page. Let's start working on our projects page. I'm just going to delete the header. I'm going to copy this header and paste it on this frame. I'm going to select this project and we're going to change the typography to the heading typography, and I'm just going to create a copy of this text and we're going to change this to the body typography. I'm going to go into my notes, go to the next page, and I'm going to copy this text and paste it here. I'm going to reduce this so that it will be on, let's say, around here. I just want it to be on 3 lines. The width is 521, and I'll select this to auto layouts, gap is 20. I'm going to bring in this image and align it to the edge of the last column, and we're going to reduce this to this on 7 columns like this, and I'll just use the left square bracket to send it to the back. I'll just start by, let me just delete that image placeholder. I'll leave the text since I'll need it. And yeah, this is, maybe I'll just move this image down a bit so we have, something like this. Okay, so now we can start creating our project. I'm going to select this, increase the height of the frame, and move all of this down. Let's start with project 1. Select this. Okay, let's change the typography first. I'm going to change it to subheading, and I'm going to copy the text for project 1 and I'm going to paste it. Let's reduce the width of this so it fits on the layout guide. Select this text, change the typography to the body typography, and I'm going to select all the text for this section, copy it and paste. We're going to need more space. Let me just move this up a bit. Okay, and I'm just going to reduce this so that it's on 6 columns. Now let's start with client, Control B to make it bold, same size, Control B, challenge, make it bold also, solution, make that bold, results, bold, and finally what they loved, we're going to make that bold also. Let's bring in the image for this section. I'm going to change the height to 420, and I'll just kind of figure out somewhere to place this. Let me select this to change spacing to 20, and then let's select this image and send it to the back so we can place it properly. I'm just going to position it on this column, so on the edge of this last column, and we can just have it like this. And Let me make sure the spacing is 20. I'm going to select this image and I'm going to group it. Let's go to our prototype view and let's see what this section looks like. So this is the project section, and yeah, this is the first project. Let's now work on project 2. I'm going to delete this image placeholder. Select this heading and then make it subheading. I'm going to select this too and just bring it up, and I'll change this one to body. Okay, let's go back to this one. I'm going to copy the heading and I'm going to paste. Let's reduce the width of this. Let's copy the remaining text. Select this, copy, and we'll paste. Let's select client, make that bold. Theme size is going to be bold, challenge, bold, solution. Next is results, and finally what they loved. Oops, I was supposed to press Ctrl B, but I intentionally press Ctrl V. Okay, so I'm going to reduce the width of this text box so that it's on 6 columns. Now what we're going to do is bring in our image, which is this one. Just going to bring that in, change the height to 400 and move this to the edge like this, and the image is aligned to the bottom of this text like that. And I'm going to just select this to make sure that it's 20 from the heading. Select the image also and then group. We are done with the second project. I'm just going to come over to this tab, give it a moment, and we have our second project. Finally, we have project 3. I'm just going to delete that. Select that heading, change the typography to subheading. I'm just going to bring that up a bit. Let's copy this and I'm going to paste. I'm going to reduce the width of this. Select this text and then change the typography to body, and I'm going to select the text for this section, copy it and paste. Reduce the width of the text box so that it's on 6 columns. Let's select client, make it bold, same size, bold, same with challenge, solution, results, and what they loved. Let me just space this to 20 and let's bring in our image. Make the height or width 500. Align this image to the 7th column. Let me make sure. Okay, and I'm just going to take it up till it's aligned to the bottom of this text. Select all 3, group, and let's just see what it looks like. This is project 3. Remain the image. Okay, let me zoom out. Select the footer section from this page, Control Shift R to replace. Now let's scroll back to the top, select this header, select this, make the spacing. If I do that, I want to do it manually so that I don't, because I've already kind of placed this one. I don't want to change that. Okay, so I moved this. I didn't want to group it because I wanted it to use this. So select this, and this spacing should be 80. This two is also 80, and for this remaining 4 it's going to be 100. I'm going to come here, reduce the height of the frame. I'm going to zoom out. While I'm selected on the frame, I'll just go to the colors, anything that is black, change it to text, and I'm wondering what's white in this particular section because I don't remember adding anything that was white. Oh, the background. So I'll just change this to our background color. Alright, let's see what this looks like in the prototype. I'm going to come here, and yeah, this is our projects page. This one is very short, so I'm just going to move this over to this side, and then we can start working on our contact page. So what we're going to do first, I'm just going to increase the height of this frame, and I'm just going to move this down. Let me just select this placeholder and delete it. Also delete the header section. I'm going to copy this header and paste it here. Let me move this text down. Let's start with this image. I'm going to bring this in, and I'm going to change the height to 423 and just align it to the edge here. Let's select this. I want to make sure it's aligned to the edge. Select this contact us, change the typography to heading, and I'm going to select this text and change it to the body text. I'm going to change, let me remove this us, let it just be contact. I'm going to go to my notes, and let's copy this text, and I'm going to paste it here. Let me reduce this so it's supposed to be okay. It's on 6 columns. I'm going to select this to make it another layout. Gap is 20, and we can just send this image to the back side to be underneath this text. Let me select this text and bring it here. I'm going to create a copy. I'll start with this, change the typography to mini heading, and I'll go to my text, copy this and paste. I'm still going to reduce this. I'll just reduce the size on 6 columns. Select this, change this to the body typography, and we're going to copy this text, and we're going to paste it. Let me see, let me reduce it to 5 columns. That actually looks much better. I'll reduce this one too. I'll reduce it. Okay, it's 6, supposed to be on the edge of the 6th column. Okay, select this to auto layouts. Gap is going to be 10. Let's select this email us, make that bold, and call us, make that bold also. And I'm going to create 2 more copies of this. Let's go to our notes, copy, book a demo, and paste. Let's grab the text with the exception of the call to action button, paste, and I'm just going to come here, copy that button, and around here paste. I'm going to copy this text and paste it here, and I'm going to bring this and add it to this auto layout. We have this section. I'm going to copy this which says let's connect. I'm going to paste that here, and let's copy the remaining text. Alright, that's it for this group of text. I'm going to just delete this. I'm going to zoom out. I'm going to keep a copy of this text because we're going to need it later. Okay, let's start with a rectangle. I'm just going to draw one here. Change the height of this rectangle to 495. The width is going to be, we're just going to reduce it till it's on 7 columns. So I'm just making sure, okay, it's on 7 columns. Let's change the fill to this orange color. That's primary 1. Next, we're going to need a text. I'm just going to bring this in over this. Change this to our background color. Yep. And I'm going to change typography to mini heading. I'm going to come to my notes. This is send us a message, and I'm going to paste. Next, I'm going to create a copy of this, change this to the body text, body typography, and I'm going to create 3 more so that we'll have 4 in total. Let's start with the first one. This is going to be your name. I'm going to paste. I'm going to copy this, which is your email. I'm going to paste. Next is going to be subject. And finally, we have your message. Let's insert a line. I'm just going to draw one here. The width of this line, let's make it 630, and I'll just change the stroke color to the background color. So what I'm going to do, select these two first, make the spacing 12 and create copies of this line for this other two. Select this two, make the spacing 12. Now come to this end and then extend, hold shift so you don't change the orientation of your line, and then increase it so it will match the same length of the line on top. Same with this one. I'm going to select both of them, make the spacing 12, and I'm going to come to this other side and I'm going to increase the length of this line. Now the next thing we're going to insert is another rectangle. I want this to be aligned sort of the bottom of this. I'm going to select this to their spacing, of course, is going to be 12. Make the height 180. As for the width, we already have it at 12, so the box is just supposed, this rectangle is just supposed to align with the edge of these three lines. Let's add a stroke and then we can remove the fill. The stroke is going to be the background color also. I'm just going to move this rectangle. I just want it to be kind of aligned to the bottom of the actual text, not necessarily the text box itself, like that. And I'm going to group them. I can make this to an auto layout. Same with this one, supposed to be auto layouts and another auto layout. I'm going to select all of this, change their spacing to 10, and I'm going to group. I'm just going to insert the text right around here and just type submit. I'm going to change this typography for this text to button 2. Make it an auto layout. Padding for the left and right is 20, top and bottom is 8, corner radius is 4, and we're going to add a fill, which is going to be the text, this one, that's primary 2. And I'm going to select this text and change this to background. I'm going to select this button and align it to the edge of this rectangle. So I'm going to select this tree. Spacing is going to be 20, and I'm going to group them. Select the rectangle, Alt V and Alt H to align it horizontally and vertically, and then group it again. And we have this sort of very simple form. I missed one final detail. We need another text just underneath here. I'm just going to create a copy of this, change this to body, and I'm just going to copy this, select this and copy, and I'm going to paste that here. I'll ungroup this using Ctrl and backspace. This one too has to be part of this group, and the spacing is going to be 20. Now I can select all of this and group. Let's start with this. I'm just going to bring this up a bit, and I'm going to create a copy. Let me paste in the heading before I change typography. I'm going to copy this and I'll paste. I'm going to change the typography to subheading. I'm going to increase the length so everything will fit. Next is this text. I'm going to change let me create a copy first. Select the first one, change the typography to mini heading, and I'm going to paste this number 1 and the question. I'm going to paste that, and for this is going to be the body typography, and we're going to copy the answer and paste. For the width, we're going to have it on 7 columns. That's what we are going for. I'm just going to bring this very close, make it an auto layout, and the current gap is 0. I'm going to zoom out a bit. Going to need a bit more space, so I'm just going to increase the height of my frame. We're going to need, we have 10 questions, so I'm just going to copy this. I don't know how many we have now. Let's just start. Probably is enough, but if it isn't, we can just create another copy. So I'll go back to my notes, copy number 2, the question for number 2. I'm going to paste. Let's copy the answer. I'm going to paste that. Yeah, let's go to the next question, number 3. I'm going to paste the question, and I'll copy the answer and paste. Let's do the same for number 4. Or what I'm going to do is I'll copy and paste it because there's no difference in what we're doing. I'm just going to copy and paste the questions and answers, and then I'll come back. I have copy and pasted the details. I think I increased the width of this one and this one so that the text will feel would fit in better in our text box. So I'm just going to bring this down. So what we're going to do now is insert some lines. I'm going to just in between these two, I'm going to create a line. The width of this line is 655, and the color is stroke color is E1, 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 and I'll just align it to the center of this text, and we're going to create multiple copies of this line. So I'll have a line in between every question and answer. Let's I'm going to zoom out. I'm going to copy this button again, and I'll just come down here, and I'm going to paste here, and the text for this call to action button, start your project. I'm going to zoom out. Now I'm going to select all the questions and answers as well as the lines, but don't select the button. Change their spacing to 30 and then group. Now you can select all of this, make their spacing 20. Before we group it, let's bring in our image. I'm going to bring this image in, make the height or width 530, and align this side to the edge of our layout guide. Let me move this up. So I'm going to use my left square brackets to send this to the back like this. Now I'm just going to select this entire frequently asked questions section, and I'm going to group that. Let's zoom out, come to this page, copy the footer section and replace. I'm going to come much closer, so select the header and this section, make the spacing 80, this image and this header spacing is going to be 45. Next, select this, including the form, make the spacing 50. Select the form, the frequently asked questions section and the footer section, make that 150. And we're just going to select the frame and reduce the height like this. While the frame is selected, I'll change the fill to background and this black color to text. That's it. So we can go to our prototype view to finally see our contact us page. And yeah, we have our contact page and we've created all our web pages. The next step now is prototyping. So to begin our prototype process, I like to keep the prototype separate from the web pages just in case we make changes to the web pages. I don't want it to affect the original design. So before we move on, I'm going to just rename this to about. This is going to be services. Next is going to be projects, and finally we have contacts. And also I've added two more colors, button, hover, to and press. I'm going to these are the colors. Don't worry, they will be in the style guide in either the description box below. If it's too much, it probably will be part of the GitHub repository that has all our text and image links to the images. But I'll just add these two other colors in. I'm going to save it, but what I'm going to do now is duplicate page, and this I'll rename prototype, so I can have design, and I'll just delete this style guide from the prototype page. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a frame around here. I'm going to come here and select all these three elements, come to this frame and paste. I'm going to ungroup this. Next, I'm going to scroll down this read more button. Can copy that, go to the frame on top and paste. I'm going to scroll down and we're going to copy this and go back to this frame I'm going to paste it here. I'm going to zoom out, and I believe I'm looking for, okay, this button. I'm going to copy this, go back to this frame, and finally we have this submit button. And I want to give it a bit of space because I want to put all of them in order. So we copied the logo and then the links in the header section, that's for home, about, services and portfolio, then contacts, then the get free trial button that is part of the header in all sections, the read more button from this section, this from the footer section. I'm not going to go down. This schedule a demo is from the contacts, and submit is also from contacts. I'm going to select all of them, align them, and have their spacing as 100. Now I'm going to save each individual elements as components. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'll rename all of them, and then I'll show you what I named the components. I've created I've renamed and then changed all of this to variants. So this I renamed as logo, this is home, I just named about, services, portfolio, contacts. This get free trial button, I just made it trial button. This is services button, because when we click on this, it's going to take us to the services page. This is just, we're going to have a hover state and a press state. I just named subscribe. This I named schedule button, and then I just created all the states. I've not made any changes to them. So we're going to now add the different states they'll have before we now connect them using the prototype. So we're going to start with this home. All I'm going to do is Control U to underline. So select the text and then underline the text. Same with services. We're just going to select this, underline. Same with this. We're going to underline the text, and then contacts, we're going to underline also. For this get free trial button, we're going to add a second state where the hover state. The hover state I wanted to change to, I'm going to go to the fill. I'm going to change the fill to this hover button, hover. This read more, we're going to use the secondary color, what I named secondary, and we're going to select this text, change the color to our text color. Next is going to be this subscribe button, change the fill to hover, and then the third state, which is going to be the press state, change the fill to this secondary color, and we're going to change the text color to the color of the text to text. Then for this button that is schedule a demo, we're going to select this, change the fill to the hover, and I'm going to select this one. We're going to change the fill to secondary, and then change the color of the text to text. And for this submit button, change the fill to this hover 2, and then finally for this button, the fill is going to be this pressed. Okay, so I'm just going to zoom out so that you can see this one doesn't have a second state. Home, about, services, portfolio, all, you just underline the text. This get free trial, just change the color the fill of the button for the hover state to fill color 1. That's hover button hover, just button hover, not button hover 1. This one I'm going to change it like this. So just take a moment to look at it and then change the color of all these states to match what I have here. So we're going to just go to prototype. I'm first going to connect these states before we connect them to the pages where they're going to. So we'll connect home to this. This will be while hovering. Animation is going to be smart animate. Curve is going to be ease in and out, and we're going to make it 200 millisecond. Same with this one. We're going to select this, and it's going to be while hovering. All other settings remain the same. Same with this. While changes to the trigger to while hovering. Portfolio while hovering. Contacts is also going to be while hovering. Same with this. Change the trigger. Same with this one. Let's change the trigger to while hovering. This, connect this to while hovering, and for this connect it to this one and then change it to while pressing. All settings remain the same. Same with this. Connect this to while hovering. Connect this to, this is going to be while pressing. The final one, connect the two of them while hovering, and this is going to be while pressing. And that's it for connecting the different states. Now we're going to connect all of this to the web pages. Let's start with the logo. It's going to connect to the home page. The trigger is going to be on click, and animation is going to be instant. I'm going to close this. I'm just going to remove this, and I'm going to zoom in. Home is going to connect to home. This about is going to connect to about. I'm going to move this here, and services is going to connect to services, and every time I do this it's just going to maintain the same settings, so I don't need to change anything. Portfolio is going to connect to projects. I'm going to move this here, and contacts is going to connect to contacts. Get free trial is going to connect to contacts. Read more is going to connect to services. So I'm going to move this. Read more will connect to services. These three are just hover and press it, so that's not going anywhere. I'm just going to go back to the design tab. Let me go back to the home page to get started. Go to assets, and I'm going to select created in this file, and we are going to use click on prototype page. I'm going to bring in this logo first, and next is going to be, I like bringing them one by one so that I don't miss any of them. Home, about, portfolio, services, and contacts. And there isn't much, so I won't even have to search. We're going to bring get free trial here. So I'm going to start with this. I'm going to cut it, and I'm going to replace it there. Same with this one. I'll replace this cuts and replace same for services. I'm going to replace that. We have portfolio, replace, and then finally contacts. I will replace that. Then get free trial. I'm going to cut and then replace. So just make sure that this is working. I'm just going to select this and run it. Let me make this fit with, and so now when I hover over this, I can see that we have our hover states. Let me click on services. Takes us to the services page, but we've not added the links here, so we won't be able to go back for now. So I'll just select this header section, copy it. I'm going to zoom out, select it, select all the header sections, Ctrl+Shift+R, and what I'm going to do is click on enter multiple times so that when everything is highlighted purple, I know that I've successfully copied. Sometimes it will happen that you try to replace, maybe you didn't copy it properly or you didn't paste properly. Let's go back to prototype, and now this text, these links are highlighting. Get free trial goes to contacts. I'll click on the logo, portfolio. Yeah, we have all those links. Let's go in and add the other links. Let's go to read more. I'm just going to bring this cut and then Ctrl+Shift+R to replace it here as well. Do the same here. I'm going to replace in all of that. And now same what I did before. I'm just going to click on enter until I see all these buttons are highlighted purple. So I'll go back to home. Oh, we didn't start a free trial and book demo. We didn't do those buttons. You know what? I'm not going to do it in this project. You can do it yourself. I actually didn't notice. I don't think, no, I didn't add them. So I honestly didn't notice them. So you can do that for yourself. Start your free trial will take you to contact. Book a demo is going to go to contact. It's the same thing. I could even create it here if I wanted to, but you know what, you should try it yourself. So we have the read more buttons. So let's go to home, and this, when you highlight, is basically going to disappear, but if we click on it, it's going to take us to our services page. Go to home, same here, and yeah, it's all the same. If you are worried about this, don't worry, just use this get free trial button. It's going to take, they are all going to the contact, so just, you know, change the text and then replace it there. Next is going to be this. I'm going to bring this in and I'm going to replace it. Before we check, let's also change this. I'm going to bring in an instance, but I'm going to change this text color to background. I'm going to copy this, cut it, and I'm going to replace. Let's also change, let's add this quick link. So I'm going to start with home. Let me change it to background. Next is about. I'm going to change this to a background color. We have services next. Change this to background. Portfolio is the next one. So I like doing all of this so that I don't miss any of them. And then finally we have contact, like this. Now I'm going to select this and I'm going to click on this. We're going to change the typography to footer body. Same with this one, change the typography to footer body, change this, and this to body. I'm going to select this home first, and I'm going to replace it here. Cut about, replace services, replace portfolio. We're going to replace, and finally we have contacts. Just going to go ahead and replace that. Now select this entire footer section, copy it, and select all the other footer sections and replace. We have a lot more elements this time. Okay, I can see this purple here. Let me try if it won't be okay, because there's a lot now. So I can see all these elements highlighted purple, so I know I've copied it. So let me go back to my prototype. Let's scroll down, and seems like since we use we're reusing the header section, it's actually affecting it, but it's fine. If you want to do it again, you can, but I'm just going to leave it. So let me contacts, let's go to services. I'll scroll down, and over in services I'm going to scroll home. So the hover state is actually changing to how will I explain it, header text. So sometimes this is what happens when you do it, but you can change it if you want. I'm just going to leave it because it's working, and I'm just going to select this. So when I click on this, this is what happens. Let's go back to home, click on this. That's it. The next buttons will be, okay, we've done subscribe to our newsletter, this schedule a demo and submit. But before that, this get started is the same one as the one, this get free trial. They're all going to the contact page, so do that yourself. Just it as something to practice. It's not that difficult. Just change the text and put it into your page. So this schedule a demo, I'm just going to bring this, replace, and finally we have submit. I'm going to cut this and we'll replace. Let's go to contacts, and yeah, I think hover and press it are like the easiest things to do when it comes to working with prototypes. But that's it, we have finished this project. Now a lot of times I like to do the other versions of our projects in other devices, but we won't for this particular project in this video anyway. In the future, maybe sometime in the future, I'm going to create the tablet version and the mobile version. I've already created this just to make the video. These things take a lot of time, that's why I won't be able to do it right now, but in the future I will. But with that said, okay, we have this this button is not going anywhere. It's the same with this one. So you'll notice that in some cases maybe I didn't notice, or as I'm going through it I'm actually noticing, but this button is not going anywhere. It's just the same button here. Just change the text and then replace this button. Same with this one. This buttons is the same as this one, but the main things we've covered. I've created a hover state, just need to change some details, and I've also created a press button that has the same attributes as, it's when you hover it, it's green, hover over it and change to that dark orange color, and when you press on it, it changes to a different color. But that's it. Like I was saying, I'm going to create a tablet and mobile version in the future, but this is it for this video. If you like the video, please like, share and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.